ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World, setting the standards for the most extensive schedule in racing. Welcome you to North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina, where there's snow on the ground. About 2 inches of snow here at the Speedway overnight, up to 10 inches in the mountains. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Larry Newber. Modified racing for you today here on ESPN. And I've been going to races for as long as I can remember, and never have conditions been as poor as far as weather is concerned than this one. Snow and brutally cold temperatures.
Bob, this is definitely the dress of the day, I'll tell you. I feel like I'm on top of a ski lodge. There's snow on the roof here, and there's snow in the mountains. But I'll tell you, whenever we come here to North Wilkesboro, the story of the race, when we run modifieds, is Frank Fleming. 4 times out of the last 5 visits, he's not on the pole today. Fleming has been on the pole, but he's never won. Some of it has been because of his own mistakes, and some of it just bad fortune. But today may be his day, finally.
Well, let's go down to the pit area and find out how these cold conditions will affect the drivers and their abilities on this racetrack. We go to Dr. Jerry Punch, who'll be covering the pit area for us today. Jerry?
Thank you, Bob. As you can see, it's a cool 41 or 42 degrees here at North Wilkesboro Speedway for this afternoon's Modified 150. 150 laps of modified competition, and with me, 38-year-old Rocky Mount Virginian driver, Satch Worley. And Satch, on the pole, you've won here 7 times, but today it's awfully cool here. How much of a factor will the weather be in today's race?
Well, it really won't affect the race car once we get going. We just have to really be careful. You know, it's been like 2 hours almost since we've been on the racetrack, and the tires are cooled off. And the first 2 or 3 laps, you know, we're going to have to try to get some heat back into the tires, and it's just a matter of being careful not to get out of shape or turn the car around before you get those tires hooked up.
A lot of cars slipping and sliding because the tires cannot get heated up. But how about the driver? These are open cockpit, open wheel cars. Will it be a little bit cool in there, or will you get some heat off that engine?
Yeah, we got a little wind deflector, you know, but the wind still really whistles through the car, and it's you know, I don't think I'll work up a lot of sweat today, but it'll be comfortable once we get going and the engine starts heating up the interior of the car.
Satch Worley, who was close but no cigar here last year, finished 2nd in the fall, had trouble in the spring. He'll be the favorite here today.
All right, thank you, Jerry. We've talked about a couple of drivers in this race. Who else might we look for today, Larry?
Well, Bob, when the modifieds come here, like with Fleming, you have to think of Satch Worley. He is the guy who traditionally has won here. He's been winning here for the last 15 years, and his moxie and savvy always seems to come to the front here at North Wilkesboro. And there's also Johnny Bryant. Johnny Bryant is another 25-year-plus veteran who is a craggly-looking old guy, but I'll tell you, when he gets behind the wheel of a race car, he stands on the button, and he's always a threat at North Wilkes.
As Larry mentioned, this race historically has been a very good one. We're set to bring it for you 150 laps here at the North Wilkesboro, North Carolina Speedway. And today's race is... Welcome back to North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina, where the cars are beginning to roll out of the pit area now in preparation for this 150 lapper. Larry and I have moved into a relatively warm broadcast booth, and joining us here is Dick Berggren, the editor of Stock Car Racing magazine, who used to drive modifieds, now drives mostly super modifieds, but certainly has some experience in this type of racing. And Dick, the track they're racing on today is ideally suited for this type of racing.
It really is, Bob. In fact, if you could get a racing architect to draw a speedway that would be perfect for modified stock cars, he'd come up with something that's very, very close to this. The racetrack is perfectly wide in terms of the ability of these cars and drivers to pass each other. We should see some good side-by-side racing today. This is, in addition, about the fastest racetrack that the majority of these competitors will see all year. This is their super speedway. It took 123.5 miles an hour to make the pole today. That's 6.5 miles an hour faster than the Winston Cup cars. And the drivers who race here say they absolutely love North Wilkesboro.
Well, the car's on the speedway now. They're warming up those tires. Satch Worley indicated that this is a very important time for these cars and drivers. Get the tires heated up before we start racing. Now here's the starting lineup for today's Lowe's 150 modified race from North Wilkesboro on the pole. Qualifying at 123.538 miles an hour is Satch Worley in car 07. Outside of row number 1 will be John Bryant from Bassett, Virginia. He's in car number 45. In the second row will be Billy Middleton in car number 46. Outside of him, number 69, the car driven by Junior Miller. In row number 3, car number 4 driven by Gary Myers, and number 40, Frank Fleming. Going in row number 4 this afternoon on the inside will be Bobby Hutchins in car number 15, and Randy Morrison will be outside of row number 4. He's driving car number 19 and lives in Lincolnton, North Carolina. In row number 5 will be car number 1. That car originally signed to Doug Heverin, but will be driven in today's race by Philip Smith. And on the outside of row number 5, car number 99, Johnny Johnson. Sixth row, Robert Jeffries in car number 75 and Billy Agee in number 33. The seventh row will find Thomas Needham on the inside, driving car number 26, and Roger Hill in car number 79. And these last 4 starters did not take a time in qualifying, but they've been added to the lineup. Number 53, Melvin Swisher, and number 9, Ralph Brinkley. And finally, in the 9th and final row will be Lanny Wilkins in car number 7 and Al Hill in number 78. And the 78 car is not on the racetrack, so we could have only 17 starters in today's event.
Bob, in 1985 and in 1986, we only had one fastest qualifier in the modifieds here at North Wilkesboro. That black number 40 right there with the chartreuse, believe it or not, there's blue and also lavender on that car to give it some nice outline. Frank Fleming was the only man who was able to sit on the pole in 85 and 86. Well, he's starting in 6th position today. It's a brand new race car, but I'll tell you what, Dick, we watched this guy mature. He's my pick today.
He's got a good shot at it, Larry. He really, really does. He's a good racer. He won 3 races last year. He's never won here. This may be his day. You can see, by the way, as the cars are lining up for the start, they're weaving and bobbing around. That's not because they're trying to look racy. Instead, they're trying to heat up the tires. When these tires are cold, boy, they are just like rocks. They do not grab the racetrack well at all. So that's what all the moving and darting is about. It's about over now. They're now starting to line up and getting ready for a start.
Bobby Hutchins will drive car number 15. He's from nearby Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Bob, as many of these cars and drivers are, and Bobby Hutchins is the guy who doesn't have nearly as much experience on this size of a track as the guys up front, but he says he likes it very well here at North Wilkes.
All right, the indication is the pace car is about to pull off the track, and we are about to go racing for 150 laps. Here comes the field off of turn number 4, being led slowly by Satch Worley. Now the pace begins to pick up. The green flag flies, and we are underway. 2 abreast racing through turns number 1 and 2 as Satch Worley has grabbed the lead with the number 46 Billy Middleton running second and John Bryant falling into 3rd spot. Here they come off of turn 4 for the completion of lap 1.
Middleton running in 2nd spot now is having a good run. He really wants to do well here today, but he's got some problems. He's got car 45, Johnny Bryant, looking on the low side of him at this point. Middleton had an absolutely awful year last year. He had crashes, mechanical defects. He really wants to win here today, but Bryant looks like he wants to win too. Close.
Bryant going low in turn number 1, almost spinning, but saving the car. He still remains in 3rd position. There's some great racing going on now. Bryant moving to the inside in turn number 3, but once again, unable to take that 2nd spot away from Billy Middleton.
The other man in front there, the white car with the purple trim, is Junior Miller. Now, we have not seen him run up front all that often here at North Wilkesboro, but he turned in a good qualifying run today. And by the way, Middleton right there in that red number 46 has qualified 2nd and 3rd the last 2 modified races here.
Well, there's an indication that maybe the higher groove is the faster one as Bryant moved to the top side in turns 3 and 4 and took that 2nd spot from the number 46 of Billy Middleton. Now we'll see if Miller will try the same approach as he goes into turn number 3. He elects instead to just follow the 46 car.
Bob, that groove in 3 and 4 on the high side is the same one that we saw Jan Leete use to go around Satch Worley to win the race in the spring last year. Remember, they're going uphill as they go into turn 3. And you can hang it out just a little more and use the banking and the centrifugal force just a little more up there.
The battle for 4th place here is between the number 69 of Junior Miller and Frank Fleming in car number 40 going for 4th here.
Fleming really didn't get much of an opportunity to practice with that car. It is brand new, so he's still got some bugs to work out with the automobile. In fact, he had practiced a little bit faster than he actually qualified with the car.
As a matter of fact, Dick, he was really fast in practice. I was watching him yesterday, and as you mentioned, it's a new car, and they didn't have very many consecutive laps. But and it looks like Fleming's going to get on the inside of Junior Miller this time. Remember, Junior is in that faster lane. Can he hold on? Yes, Miller moves down on the inside of Fleming. Wanted to share with you that Fleming had one practice lap yesterday at 17.75, thereabouts, off a handheld stopwatch. Now, that is 20 hundredths of a second under his existing one-lap track record, and that's an average speed of over 126 miles an hour. But they just couldn't put it all together. He qualified a second slower than that 17.75 that he practiced at.
Speeds weren't especially fast here today in qualifying, probably because of the cold weather. The pole sitter Satch Worley at 123.5, and that's almost 2 miles an hour faster than Johnny Bryant, who qualified second. While we watch this action back in the pack, and specifically the battle for 4th place between Miller and Fleming, and we can also tell you that Gary Myers is there in car number 4 looking to pick up his spot, but the leader is Satch Worley, and he has pulled out about a half a straightaway advantage on number 45, Johnny Bryant, who is running in second. There's the leader. Satch Worley will be right back with more. Satch Worley has come in for a pit stop. Looks like they're checking the tire on the right side, right front of the car. We are under yellow, and obviously fuel being needed for that car also. Satch Worley pulling away now and rejoining the field. And Billy Middleton in car number 46 has also come in. We had noticed him dropping back somewhat. He's back to 6th position now. Perhaps we can get a reason for that from Jerry Punch.
Cecil Duggan's the crew chief for Billy Middleton. And Cecil, Billy was dropping back just a little bit. Is there a problem with the car, or did you make a change that maybe went the wrong way for you?
Well, we changed gears this morning. We went with a little higher gear, and it might have hurt us coming off a corner just a little bit, but he's been sick all week with the flu, and that's what's wrong with him right now. He's sick. He's real sick right now.
Billy Middleton with a sick race car and sick himself, so having a tough time here at North Wilkesboro.
Well, the cleanup crews have completed their work down in the first turn, so we should be going green momentarily here. Gary Myers in car number 4, the Miller American Cavalier, is on pit road for some work on that car, and they also are working on the right front of that machine. While we are still under yellow, we'll take this break and be right back with more. Next time around, we'll be coming off the yellow period here and going green. We are yellow because of a blown engine on Billy Agee's car, number 33. Let's go down to this report from the pit area and Jerry Punch.
This is veteran car builder and crew chief Speedy Thomas for Satch Worley. And Speedy, you brought Satch in on this caution for a pit stop, a tire change and fuel. Did you have to stop?
Well, I had a right front tire going bad, and I decided to better change at the end road and try to run it on a few more laps. And if I gas up, I won't have to stop. I can run it the rest of the way on fuel.
They calculated before the race started they could go about 120 laps on fuel, so it's a good break for them to get fuel under caution.
The green comes out in a drag race to turn number 1, won by Frank Fleming. He goes into the lead. Johnny Bryant is second. Junior Miller running in 3rd position. Frank really got a nice restart coming off of corner number 4.
Dick, I'll tell you why I did not like that move. There's a lot of quick dry down on number 1. I don't know that he knew exactly what he was facing, but he handled it perfectly.
Well, you never exactly know what you're facing in automobile racing anyway. And Fleming really did a great job there. You've got to go through the gears here to get that thing out of the corner and come down for the green flag. Excellent job, and a good demonstration of courage by both Fleming and the 45 Johnny Bryant.
I agree with that.
Both of them stuck their leg right in it, and they went right into that mess in the first turn. Here's it. What a nice pass.
There's Fleming going to the inside. He did not jump out of line. The green flag flickered as the pack was in turn number 4. And he was just ready to go as soon as he saw it, and off he went.
As Jerry mentioned to you, Satch Worley, who led the early stages of this race, did come in for a pit stop, and he is now threading his way through traffic as we continue to follow the first three, especially the race for the lead involving Frank Fleming and the number 45 car of John Bryant. And Satch Worley is catching up. He's about a straightaway behind the leader. The average speed at the end of 30 laps before the most recent caution period had dropped to 98.540 miles an hour. Now Bryant looks like gave Fleming a tap there in the rear end in turn number 4. They come down the straightaway and complete another lap, but Fleming is holding on. Here is Satch Worley passing 99 Johnny Johnson, and now there are no cars between Satch Worley and the third place car driven by Junior Miller, and Satch is really moving.
1/3 of the race has already gone by now. Remember, again, this is a 150-lap race. And it's interesting how the ebb and flow of this competition goes. We're watching Worley right now, and he easily appears to be the fastest car on the track. And a little earlier, when Fleming, when he was running in third, there is Frank in that black chartreuse numbered 40. When he was running third, he looked like he was the quickest car. Now that he has passed Johnny Bryant, Bryant looks quicker than Frank, so it keeps going back and forth, but it keeps coming down also to 3 cars. Fleming in 40 on your screen right now. Johnny Bryant in 57 also on the screen, and coming up to be heard from, Satch Worley.
The number 69 car of Junior Miller is running in third position, but he has dropped back now, leaving these two to battle for the lead. There is the recap as far as yellow caution periods are concerned. Blown engine on the number 18 car of, and the car of Billy Agee also blowing a motor. And there you see Brinkley, Agee, and Roger Hill have all dropped out of the race.
Now, Dick, another important part of this race begins to come up now. And I'm going to say that it's very important that Fleming has got a spin. Hutchins. And Fleming's into the wall. Frank Fleming has hit the wall in the front stretch, and Frank Fleming's day is over.
Well, unfortunate situation. He was just about to cross the line to take the yellow flag because of the spin by Bobby Hutchins over in turn number 2. And Fleming himself has contact with the wall. Our leader has met an unfortunate situation. The number 1 car of Philip Smith, we understand, is leaking oil and may have caused both incidents.
Oh, I was just about to say that it would have been important that they put as many people 1 lap down before they stopped. Now, here is the number 1 car, Philip Smith, who was on the racetrack about the same location of the spin there of Hutchins. You can see Hutchins coming around, no contact with anybody else or any of the outside barriers.
And then the crash involving Frank Fleming, the leader, as he and Johnny Bryant came off the 4th corner about to take the yellow flag. And Fleming just getting a little bit loose and nailing the wall.
There's a matter of being the lead duo, being the lead car in the lead duo is not the place to be. The yellow came out on lap 55, and our spotters around the track are saying that it was oil or water deposited by the yellow number 1 of Philip Smith a lap or 2 earlier that puts Fleming into the wall.
The misfortune that Frank Fleming has experienced here at North Wilkesboro continues. He's out of the race. Under our 3rd caution period of the afternoon as we bring you the Lowe's 150 NASCAR Modified race from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina Speedway. We are under the most current caution period because of incidents involving Bobby Hutchins over in turn number 2 and the leader, Frank Fleming, who nailed the wall here on the main straightaway. Let's go to Jerry Punch with an interview with Frank Fleming.
Well, Frank, trouble again today. 3 poles here at North Wilkesboro, and son of a gun, you've been close but no cigar, and problems again. What happened today?
Well, somebody had dropped some oil out of the car. They sprung some kind of a leak, blowed the motor, done something, and I seen it down in turn 1 and 2, and I went wide, and it was all the way up the back straight. I was wanting to throw the caution out, but, you know, there's no way to get in touch with them, and then up here coming off 4, it looks like to me the car had moved up the track and come into line. I was trying to really, you know, avoid a spin, and it's just one of them things that got me today.
You made a pretty gallant move on the restart a few laps back to take the lead. That's something you saw used on you last year.
Yes, about 5 months ago, I was leading the race, and Jan Lady done it to me, took the lead from me, and I decided I'd try to do it myself.
And sorry to see you out of it.
Green flag is out. We're back to racing. 6 cars are on the lead lap. 10 cars are still in competition out of 17 that began this race. Satch Worley came in for a couple of more pit stops during that caution period, this time to change tires on the left side of the car. So Satch is on the lead lap, but he is going to have to move up through traffic to be a competitor for the lead. The lead is held by John Bryant in car number 45, and Junior Miller is right there in second.
This is a Bryant-Worley race, unless Junior Miller can find some way to mount a challenge. Now, as we go back to green here, Junior Miller is hanging in there. He's holding his own against the veteran Bryant.
He is. He's running really, really well today, too, Larry. I remember last fall when we came to this racetrack, Junior Miller was all pumped up about his ability to win here, and he thinks he can today.
That's Gary Myers and Satch Worley. Worley to the inside of Myers, and some real close competition here. They're going for that 5th spot. Right ahead of them is the 4th place car driven by Billy Middleton, and Satch has moved alongside. Let's see how things go coming out of the corner. Worley moves into 4th position now and is really going toward the front.
Myers makes a great move. Hutchins, you saw him wiggling coming out of turn 2. He's still searching for it. It's just not coming together for him. The mount doesn't feel steady underneath. And both Meyer and Worley find some room on the outside and move by. Great opportunity for Meyer. He picked up a position and all that, maybe 2.
Lead continues to be held by Johnny Bryant from Bassett, Virginia. Driving a Cavalier. There you see the interval between 1st and 2nd position, as Junior Miller has been running in the top 5 just about all afternoon. However, it seems like that as the course of the race goes along, he begins to fall back just a little, and that's the situation now, as he was right up on the back bumper of Bryant a few laps ago, but now beginning to drop back just a little.
And we have not mentioned the guy who, and we've got a smoker in turn 3. It's Miller. Lots of smoke. Difficult to say exactly what it is. It ain't tire smoke, I'll tell you that.
Well, he continues on the racetrack. The yellow does come out, however, and Junior Miller, who was in 2nd position, may be through for the afternoon.
See, Junior has cut the power way back, probably checking the mirrors. He might not have known exactly who it was. You're busy going into particularly number 3 down here. So Miller will be ducking down, trying to steer into the pits this time around, see if he can determine whether or not their problem is terminal or just a temporary one. What do you think, Dick?
Well, it's hard to say what's wrong with Miller's car. Most of the smoke was coming from the back of the automobile. Look at this. Half the crew is going to take the hood up. Yeah, it appears to be an engine problem underneath the hood. Not a lot of smoke inside the cockpit when that happened, so he may not have known for sure what was going on again, but it does look like an engine problem.
You know, here it is again in replay. The leader, Bryant, on the left side of your screen. There is Miller's engine letting go, apparently.
And as you say, it doesn't look like they do exactly, or traditionally when it's just simply an engine problem, but that's certainly where they're doing their work.
So the caution flag comes out for the 4th time this afternoon. We'll be back with more of the Lowe's 150. North Wilkesboro for the NASCAR Modified Lowe's 150. On the day before, the Winston Cup cars will compete here at North Wilkesboro. A race we'll have live for you at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Our 4th yellow period of the afternoon is about to end. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Well, the reason for this caution flag is Junior Miller. Junior, what happened?
We broke a fitting off the oil pump, and the line just fell off and it's blowing oil out on the racetrack. And just knocked us out of the race. It was saving the car for the end of the race there, and we started running a little better there about halfway there when it broke, and just didn't make it to the winner. We were trying to run good.
Well, that's Junior Miller. We're going back to the green.
Indeed we are. The green comes out. We are 1 lap past the halfway point. And Bryant is the leader, running in 2nd position, Johnny Johnson. And in 3rd, look at Satch Worley in car number 07, who has made a few pit stops this afternoon and fallen to the rear of the pack. But each time he has worked his way back to the front.
Dick, I'm a little surprised that Bryant has not taken the opportunity to pit yet, as Worley looks over Johnson looking for a way to get around. I got to believe that because Worley has had an opportunity to make some adjustments on the tires, make sure there's absolutely no question on the fuel, have a couple of brief conversations with his crew chief. He's in really good position right here, and Bryant has not come in yet.
He may not come in at all, Larry. It's perfectly possible for one of these automobiles to go 150 laps. Boy, we've got a good fight for the lead right now, and the 07 Worley has just blasted by Johnson into the 2nd position. Worley has been in at least 2 times. He's changed both front tires on his car. Your leader, however, has not. 45, Johnny Bryant has not been in the pit since the race line.
Now Satch Worley in number 07 closes into about 5 car lengths. Here they come off of corner number 4, and Satch, without doubt, has the fastest car on the racetrack. Johnny Bryant, I'm sure, is very much aware of that as he's checking things in the rearview mirror.
Both of these guys are in 10th position, tied for 10th position in career wins at the Bowman Gray Stadium. That's the racetrack where these drivers run on a weekly basis. They both won about 25 times in their long and storied careers. They've done a lot of, spent a lot of time barnstorming up and down the East Coast, so they don't have quite as many wins as somebody like Radford or Ralph Brinkley, who dropped out of this race early on. There's Johnson and Gary Myers, another second-generation racer, as they're having a conversation over 3rd place.
Johnson in 3rd, Gary Myers in 4th, and in 5th position is Middleton in car number 46, not too far behind Gary Myers. We've had 3 leaders of this race. Right now, John Bryant is the leader, but Satch Worley has led the most laps, and Worley now is right on the back bumper of Bryant, and Worley may be going for the lead at any moment. Let's check the mid-race recap. You can see at the halfway point, Johnny Bryant was the leader, and we were under caution at that time. The average speed had dropped to just under 70 miles an hour. 3 leaders and 3 lead changes. We have had 4 caution periods, but mostly for mechanical problems. Frank Fleming did spin here on the main straightaway to eliminate himself, and also Bobby Hutchins spun over in turn number 2. And there you see the cars that have dropped out of competition. The 3 leaders have been Worley, Fleming, and Bryant. Right now on the racetrack, Satch Worley continues to run in 2nd position, stalking Johnny Bryant.
A couple of years ago, by the way, Johnny Bryant won a race at Martinsville, Virginia, going all the way on 1 tank full of fuel. He was also the only guy on the speedway that day that did it. That, however, was for a different car owner than the man he's driving for today. Today he's driving for Ken Stewart, who, by the way, owns 5 race cars. 5 of them. 2 of them are antiques, and 3 of them are modern automobiles. He's had race cars for years and years. Meanwhile, down on pit road, Jerry Punch has a report.
Well, you're talking about the fuel situation. A lot of these drivers think they cannot go all the way on a single tank of fuel. 150 laps here at North Wilkesboro is about 92 miles on a 5/8-mile racetrack. Most of the drivers think they can go maybe 70 miles or 120 laps. Now, you mentioned Johnny Bryant. He won the race at Martinsville a couple of years ago by being able to stretch the fuel. His crew chief and brother, Donald Bryant, tells me it's going to be awfully close on whether they can make it the distance here at North Wilkesboro.
Well, that's something that Satch Worley doesn't have to worry about because he has refueled that car in his visits to pit road. But John Bryant has not been in for a stop, so he may be in a fuel problem. Back with more from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and the Lowe's 150. To NASCAR Modified Racing, I'm Bob Jenkins, along with Larry Newber and Dick Berggren in the pits, and Jerry Punch in the booth, rather, and Jerry Punch in the pit area. The battle we're watching right now involves the 99 blue car of Johnny Johnson, the number 4 machine of Gary Myers, and Billy Middleton in 46.
And it's a pretty good one, too. Remember, this is for 3rd position. Myers goes to the inside of Johnson. Remember that lane down there in 3 and 4. It should be the high lane. It should work the best. Johnson survives that up front.
And now Billy Middleton, number 46.
Oh, what a move.
Oh, and Myers takes back that 3rd position. At the end of the backstretch there, you can see the average speed overall is 69.90 miles an hour, but the green flag average is 122.88. And a few laps ago, we clocked the leader at 123.152. The leader remaining Johnny Bryant.
Myers really made a great move that time coming out of number 2, Dick. They opened the door just a little bit. They all moved over to make a pass on a lap car, and it was too much room, and Myers jumped in.
Yeah, he sure did. Right now, though, I'm watching Satch Worley, who's dropping back on the leader, Johnny Bryant. So I'm sure Worley is aware of the situation with Bryant, with the fuel, and he's just got plenty of time to go beat on his door, and he's obviously got plenty of horsepower, too.
There is Myers, Gary Myers moving in there. He just went to the outside of Puddin Fisher as they came out of number 2. He was trying to pass Johnny Johnson there in a blue and white car.
There's some tire banging going on.
But they both stayed on him because they were together as they went down to the other end of the speedway, came out on number 2.
There's the interval between 1st and 2nd. The car is high on the racetrack. are on the lead lap. That's Johnny Bryant in number 45 and Satch Worley in 07. Well, you mentioned, Dick, that you thought that Satch was just hanging back here, hoping that Johnny Bryant does have a fuel problem. What do you think, Larry?
Well, we got about 50 laps to go yet in this event. We're up to 99, yeah, 51 laps to be exactly. There is Gary Myers again and 46 of Billy Meyer. I have a tendency to agree with Dick. I think that Worley understands that he does not have to take any unnecessary chances right now. And as long as he can keep pace with Bryant, he can follow him around for another 15 or 20 laps. Because this is only a 5/8 mile track, he's got to start to make his move if he is capable of doing it by no later than lap 120.
This is the battle for third place.
And Bryant is spinning. Bryant spins in turn number 4. He gathers it back up. Does he have enough momentum to hold off Worley? Worley goes to the inside. They go around Lonnie Wilkins. And Satch Worley gets a gift from Johnny Bryant. It appeared just to be an error.
Bryant, I don't think spun the car, but sure got it out of shape enough that Worley could pass him for the lead.
Well, here's where we find out who's really tough or not, because Bryant right now needs to redeem himself from that problem in the fourth corner. And if he's really got the moxie to be out in front, this is the time to go by the 07 of Satch Worley. It looks like he's going to try to make a move on it right now.
And on the other hand, if Worley was holding back or waiting, he would no longer do it now that he has the lead. He'd take off running high if he could, right, Dick?
That's right. He's just gone, Larry. If he can, this is the time to leave.
So we still have had only 3 leaders, but that is our 4th lead change of the afternoon, and this is how it occurred.
Bryant was just moving through lap traffic, coming around 3 or 4, no incident. You can see it just got away. Johnny goes into a long slide. Right now he has to get on the brakes to keep the thing from stopping, and it's very difficult to labor back up to the RPMs. Meanwhile, Worley is coming along without any incident, and Middleton has gotten around Myers, and Middleton takes over 3rd.
Middleton in 3rd now, and Myers back to 4th position as 1st and 2nd now held by Worley and John Bryant. Here is a replay of how Middleton took over that 3rd spot.
There's Middleton down on the inside. They're going through 3 and 4, and Myers just got out of the lane. We've commented a couple of times you can do very well miles per hour, RPMs wide on the high side of 3 and 4, but if you've lost the momentum and you give up the inside lane too early, you can't defend.
I'll take my hat off to Middleton. Boy, it's a tough deal to drive one of those.
Oh, Bryant.
Boy, Bryant in big trouble for Bryant.
You know, it may be a tire situation. It's difficult to say, but he has made no changes. We've commented a couple of times. Dick?
Well, he just raised his hand when he went down the straightaway as if to warn the drivers behind him that he has really got a problem. Johnny Bryant definitely in trouble here.
Here's a replay, and for the 2nd time in just a few laps, it is Bryant in trouble in turn 4.
You can see he looked down low. It looked like he had picked up on Worley as they moved through 3 and 4, and he was looking for an opening, but as he pointed the car down low, it got away. And Jerry, you got a comment on this?
Well, we've seen Johnny Bryant do the bob and weave here in turn 4. His crew seemed to think maybe the soft tire compound that they guessed with today may be giving up on him. Some of the other people have come in like Satch Worley and changed tires. We've documented that, but Bryant has not made a pit stop for tires or fuel. His crew said the tires have maybe gone, and he's having trouble handling the car.
About a half a straightaway advantage now for Satch Worley over Johnny Bryant, and we are on lap number 150. We'll be back right after this. 8 laps completed. Here are the top 5. The leader is Satch Worley. 2nd position, Johnny Bryant. Billy Middleton is in 3rd, and Gary Myers 4th. A lap down in 5th position is the number 99 car driven by Johnny Johnson. 6th unofficially is Bobby Hutchins. Then in 7th position is Robert Jeffries. In 8th is Melvin Swisher. 9th is Lanny Wilkins. In 10th position is the 19 car driven by Randy Morrison. There's Johnny Bryant now in 2nd position. However, it doesn't seem that Satch Worley is moving away from Bryant at all.
As a matter of fact, you know what happens when you put a linebacker on Mark Clayton? It's really obvious that Clayton is faster. That's what's going on right now. Bryant is moving in again.
The number 75 car, Robert Jeffries, is into the pit area. Our spotters had thought that perhaps he was dropping a liquid onto the racetrack, so he is in. Also, number 26, Thomas Needham, will go out of the pit area now as we continue to watch the work on the Jeffries machine.
Some really interesting moments coming up for Johnny Bryant. He can now tell, hey, I am significantly faster than Satch, but hopefully he's gone to school the last couple times he's gotten close. He's tried to stand on the pedal and make a move to get around Satch, and he has created some errors, not because he is a poor racer, but because the car is not at full speed when he gets close.
Well, he's also figured out where the absolute edge is. You can believe that he's running to that car to the total limit of adhesion, because he's lost it at least 3 times that we have seen this afternoon. Satch, on the other hand, may still have some left. We have yet to see Satch bob or weave or make any miscue of any kind. He is totally in control of the 07 car, currently your leader.
I'll tell you, if Bryant is able to make a significant challenge or he eventually gets by, what a performance it's going to be.
Looking for the 3rd place car, driven by the number 46. There he is, Billy Middleton. He's running in 3rd. Right behind him is the 4th place car, driven by Gary Myers. There is an indication for you of exactly how far these runners in 3rd and 4th are behind Satch Worley and Johnny Bryant. Those 4 cars, the only ones on the lead lap. The car being shown in 5th position is the 99 machine, driven by Johnny Johnson. He's a lap down.
And Gary Myers there in number 4, Gary Myers is the son of Billy Myers. Those of you who happen to live up in the Northeast, remember Smokey Snellbaker? That's who Gary Kerr reminds me of. Snow White, you know, Dick. Good compliment.
Look at this battle for the lead as now Johnny Bryant has moved right up on Satch Worley. Look to the inside there in turn number 2. Going down the backstretch, it's still Satch Worley in the lead, but Bryant looks like he may be looking for that top spot.
Oh, he is right on the edge. He's got to be very careful. We have seen that those tires are not getting the same grip that they were at the beginning of the race, and certainly not the grip that Bryant is accustomed to having. He has got to be absolutely pinpoint perfect to get around Satch.
They don't make any mistakes either, because they're going to get side by side. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Bryant to the inside, Worley on the outside of the track, but Satch holds him off once again.
Unless he makes a mistake, I've got to believe that Bryant has got to make a good move going into 3, right where he's going now, and try that high side of Worley. Unless Satch is beginning to lose a bit of his tire grip, starts running maybe a lane up as he goes forward, like last year when Lady was working on Worley. I got a feeling we've got the same situation here. Bryant has got to look high in 3 and 4.
We have 25 laps to go in this race. It's a great battle up front. Satch Worley and Johnny Bryant.
Worley learned from that experience last fall. Look where he's running, Dick, up there, and he goes in 3 and 4. He's about a half a lane, 3/4 of a lane off the inside rail.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to let Bryant get on the outside of him. No question about that. And for Bryant, with his problem, what happens to him when he loses control of the car is the back end breaks loose. Now, if he were on the outside where the back end breaks loose, he might be able to get away with it. But if he's on the inside, he won't. He'll take the 07 with him.
Here's a replay of some action just a few laps ago. We saw some smoke coming from the rear end of Satch Worley's car. Is that tire smoke or did it come from the exhaust, Dick?
I would guess that it's probably the point at which he's picking up the throttle, Bob, and so therefore it would most likely be engine smoke. It appeared to come out both sides. It, however, is probably nothing to be particularly concerned about. That is not an indication that an engine is about to expire.
We continue to watch this battle for the lead. Now the cars are approaching Gary Myers, who is running 4th. Put him a lap down. That would leave only 3 machines on the lead lap. There goes Satch Worley to the outside of Myers in turn number 2, but he can't make the pass at the moment.
And by lapping the 3rd and 4th running cars, this could be Bryant's best chance coming up. You can see just up ahead of him, you saw a quick glimpse of Bobby Hutchins. He's running competitively. Middleton is right up there because Bryant gets forced way to the high side as he tries to go around Gary Myers. That was really a big moment in this race because we're getting down to the final stages, and Bryant does not have an opportunity or cannot take a chance to lose any time at all.
And you saw a car running slow there on the inside of the backstretch. That was Johnny Johnson, who was shown in 6th spot. Back with more after this from North Wilkesboro. Lowe's 150 NASCAR Modified race from North Wilkesboro. There are the top 5. Worley, the leader. Johnny Bryant, 2nd. Middleton is 3rd. Myers, 4th. And Bobby Hutchins has now moved into 5th position. Johnny Johnson was in 5th. However, he has dropped back. And Hutchins now in that 5th spot. Here's the battle for the lead once again. Bryant right behind Satch Worley. Looks to the inside. Going into 1. Can't make the pass.
This is good stuff. You saw that little puff of smoke again as Satch Worley went into the corner. That almost certainly is engine smoke. It does appear to be coming off the exhaust header. And look at Worley. Worley constantly trying the inside. Oh, boy.
Bryant trying the outside, and again what's going on is Worley just won't give him the outside lane. Bryant would really like to try that. Now what Satch has to be careful of is to not overdo it. If he moves up too high and Bryant is Johnny on the spot, Johnny Bryant on the spot, Johnny can dip down low, get him on the low side while Satch is defending up high.
While we watch this battle for the lead, we'll remind you that we'll be on live at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon with the first Union 400 Winston Cup race for NASCAR stock cars. And that is a race that also should see competition just like we've seen here this afternoon in the Modifieds. Bryant once again dives low on the main straightaway. As they go into one, though, it's Satch Worley with the higher and faster groove maintaining that top spot.
If Worley had any doubt as to where Johnny Bryant was, he let him know. He said, tap, tap on the back bumper, and there it was. He said, here I am. You better be careful.
Say, well, I can feel when somebody's back there. They'll tell you that, well, I can hear him when he's back there. Well, Worley got an absolute knock on the door saying, hey, I'm here, right here, just in case you're wondering that.
When they cross the stripe this time, it'll be lap number 139 complete. We'll have 11 laps to go on this racetrack that's just over a half mile in length. The average speed is 83.90 overall. Discounting the caution periods, the green flag average is 129.29.
Worley has gone high in 4, and Bryant's got a little more of a wheel than he had in previous laps, but Satch stands on it, coming down the front straightaway and holds him back, but that was close that time.
Satch has only 10 more laps to go. Can he hold off Bryant for the win? Here at North Wilkesboro Speedway in our NASCAR Modified race. Satch Worley in the red and white number 07 is the leader, but the blue car number 45 of Johnny Bryant is right on the rear end of that race car and trying to take over the lead.
Last fall here, it was Jan Lady from upstate in the northeastern part of the country that was following Worley, and Lady definitely had the fastest of the two cars, but there was a difference between that situation and this situation. Lady's car was also performing up to maximum. Bryant's car, we suspect that the tire situation is not the optimal one for him. And Johnny, as a matter of fact, speed shot has dropped back. Johnny Bryant is not going to get around Worley unless Satch makes an error.
Yeah, he is definitely pulling off the race car. He's dropped well back now. He's a good 10 or 12 cars back. Either one of the tires has gone away or he's received a symptom of running out of fuel. But Bryant now dropping solidly off the pace. Worley solidly in the lead at this moment.
5 laps to go. 5 laps to go. There's the interval between first and second. Satch Worley appears to have things wrapped up, but there are still a little more than 4 laps to go, and anything can happen.
Satch Worley started winning here at North Wilkesboro in the late 1970s. There's Johnny Bryant, who's been watching very carefully the last 30 or 40 green flag laps. Remember that Johnny Bryant has not visited in person since this race began, so it's been not a long, lonely afternoon, but a lonely afternoon for Johnny. Worley won here in 80, 81, 82, 83. He won both of the races. He won here in 1985. Actually slowed down a little bit here in the middle years of the decade, but Worley, without a doubt, is the successful veteran of modified racing at North Wilkesboro.
Billy Middleton is your third place driver, and Gary Martin in fourth at the moment, as now there will be 3 laps to go next time around.
I wonder what Bryant must be thinking now to have come so close and at the very tail end to lose out and be slowing as he is.
He's come so close about 3 or 4 times, Dick. He had the lead, then he got passed by Satch, then he came back up. White flag comes out, thinks to find 1 more lap to go. He's seen him come back up twice. He had this race within his grasp about 3 different times.
It looks like it's going to be smooth sailing and a win for Satch Worley here in the Lowe's 150. Here he is off the 4th corner. He takes the checkered flag, and Satch Worley wins. Johnny Bryant finishes in 2nd position as Satch's pit crew celebrates the win. Finishing in third spot is going to be Middleton and Gary Myers in fourth. And a lap down, finishing in fifth position unofficially, will be Bobby Hutchins. And he ran a good race considering that he spun over in turn number 2 on lap number 55.
And make no mistake about it, this is a major event for modified racing. There is second place, Johnny Bryant rolling in. He'll have a great deal to say to his pit crew, and they're going to ask him what went on, what went wrong. He'll attempt to explain it to them. I was commenting about this racetrack. This is the Talladega. This is the Darlington. This is a major event, a major racetrack for modified racing.
So Satch moves into victory lane. Our Dr. Jerry Punch is already there, and he'll have an interview with the winner when we come back. Right now, we're going to take this break. The winner of the Lowe's 150 here at North Wilkesboro this afternoon is Satch Worley. Very cold Saturday afternoon in North Carolina. Satch Worley wins the Lowe's 150 modified race. Here's Jerry Punch.
Satch, congratulations on win number 8. A heck of a run today.
Yeah, we turned out pretty lucky. We weren't right there to start with. We had some bad tires on the front, so we had to make 2 pit stops to get those fixed, and then we caught back up pretty easy. But Johnny was running good, and we were a little bit loose, and we just lucked up and got by him right there. And then once I got in front, I just drove my own race.
What do you think may have happened to Johnny? Could it have been the tires may have been going away on his car as he started getting a little bit slippery out there?
Yeah, it looked kind of like it. He looked like he had his problem whenever he had to go around lap traffic. And usually when they lose time in lap traffic, that's because the car's real loose and they can't get around the outside of the racetrack.
Well, Satch Worley winning here at the Wilkesboro. Interesting point. This car is a Billy Nasowitz chassis. Built, of course, Billy Nasowitz built the cars for legendary Richie Evans. And Satch, congratulations again on a win.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Bruce Hayes and Hayes Jewelers because, without him for the last 4 years, we wouldn't even be here. And we've got a super race car, and it's the RE chassis, and Speedy and them's done a great job on the motors and putting the car together. And we just got it going this year. This car is just a lot better than what we've had before, and I look for real good things from it.
Satch Worley takes the win. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thank you, Jerry. The top 5 finishers, Worley the winner, Johnny Bryant finishes 2nd, Billy Middleton 3rd, Gary Myers was 4th, and Bobby Hutchins winds up in 5th position. The Lowe's 150 from North Wilkesboro has been brought to you by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name, by Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better than Mr. Goodwrench. No one. And by Quaker State Motor Oil, new Quaker State with QSX. Keep your engine cleaner to last longer. Tomorrow from here at North Wilkesboro, the first Union 400 Winston Cup race, and Bill Elliott will be on the pole position for that race. It's the first time that Bill has ever won a pole for a short track Winston Cup race. We ask you to be with us at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for that Winston Cup event. My thanks to Larry Newberg, Dick Berggren, and Jerry Punch for their help. And thank you for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow. For now, this is Bob Jenkins. So long, everyone.